Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zack, and for the last several days I've been driving the 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid SEL. Up front is a 2.4 liter inline-4 as well as a plug-in hybrid system, and down below is a 1-speed automatic transmission. Now I am super excited to be making this video here today for two reasons. First of all, I have gotten a lot of time in the Outlander plug-in hybrid. I've really gotten to know this car, and there's plenty of things to like and some to dislike about it, so I'm excited to share that with you. But the second reason is that I get a little bit of change in scenery from my normal bland, wintry, cold Illinois, and we're out here in the Pacific Northwest in Oregon, right outside Tillamook, so we have some beautiful scenery to play with here today for the Outlander plug-in hybrid. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. But let's get back to that plug-in hybrid system. Well, that's what makes this Outlander so special. Like I said, the gasoline engine is a 2.4 liter inline-4, and that is a completely Mitsubishi designed engine. However, it also has two electric motors, one at the front and one at the rear, and the one at the rear is actually bigger. So it does give it all-wheel drive like we'll talk about, but you can go about 38 miles on just electricity at a full charge. This car will spend most of its life in EV mode, but as we'll talk about with the interior, there's actually a way to switch it, and there's a lot of preferences and settings that you could set up this car to be what you want it to be. But in normal, average, everyday mode, it's going to be an EV essentially with a range extender. Now, like I said, paired to it is a single-speed automatic transmission. The standard Mitsubishi Outlander gets a 2.5 liter Nissan engine and CVT. This doesn't have that. This is a single-speed automatic because it is a mostly EV product, so it doesn't really need a CVT. Last but not least, this does have the SAWC system, the all-wheel drive system from Mitsubishi, and the rear wheels are actually completely ran with the electric motor. There is no physical drive shaft going to the rear, and it can divert up to 99% of the power to the rear wheels, which is fantastic to see. And this all-wheel drive system was designed by the same guy that designed the all-wheel drive system in the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 10. So, same guy did this. How does it feel to drive the Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid? Well, it is decently large. Although this does share a platform with the Nissan Rogue, it does drive a lot bigger, even though it's not. Same wheelbase, same everything. It just feels a little bit bigger on the road. In normal mode, I really don't like the steering. It's way too light. However, after Mitsubishi told me to try tarmac mode, it actually stiffens up the steering and makes it a lot more comfortable, so I would recommend that if you don't like overly light steering. Visibility is good for a technically 3-row vehicle. I'm not in love with it. I don't hate it. It is what it is. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have a completely digital gauge cluster. Now, off to the left looks like a tachometer, but it's actually your kilowatt output. So you'll see it randomly just go up and down and bounce all around while driving, and it's kind of fun to watch. I thought it was a tachometer and then I was revving to 10,000 RPM, but that's not the case. Off to the right, you do get the speedometer, and on the steering wheel on the left, we do have our volume, skip track, and selectors for that gauge cluster screen. And off to the right, we have our adaptive cruise control options, which I quite like here in the Outlander plug-in. The center of the screen, you can actually swap around and give you a bunch of different screens for your energy flow and information and audio and things like that. So I really like the customization in here. You'll find a similar setup and similar design in the Nissan Rogue as well, which I will have linked at the end of the video because I'll reference it quite a bit. Off to the left, we do have a climate control vent. We have our gauge dimmer switch, gas cap release, our AC 1500 watt outlet settings that we'll talk about in the trunk a little bit later on, our power tailgate, our head-up display information button, charge timer, and plug lock. Moving on to the door, we have 2 levels of memory seats, power locks, power mirrors, and power windows. Moving into the center, we do get our infotainment system. We do have wireless Apple CarPlay here in the Outlander plug-in hybrid, which is nice to see. And we do get some fun EV pages, which is really, really nice. Not all hybrids do this, especially the new Mazda CX-50 hybrid has no kind of energy flow or information screen about the hybrid system, so I'm really happy to see that here in the plug-in hybrid Outlander. And we do get a 360 camera along with the backup camera for some extra help maneuvering this vehicle. Down below, we do have some physical buttons for skip track, audio, menu, map, and camera, 2 climate control vents with the hazard switch, and the climate controls themselves. Heated seats, as well as a heated steering wheel, dual zone climate, and I can control the rear climate from up front, which is really nice. However, what's missing is ventilated seats. And the reason that's so strange is because the seats are actually massaging. So you get massage features before you get ventilation features. A very interesting choice from Mitsubishi. Then we do have a USB-C as well as USB-A input, 12-volt outlet and wireless charger, and the shifter. The shifter off to the left functions fine. Hit the button on the side, move it forward or back for reverse and drive, and a park is a button. And then we have our drive modes. So, plenty to talk through here. If you go to the left, Eco and Power, these are your drive modes. Specifically power modes. So power is obviously going to use the gas engine and electric motors together. Eco is going to kind of numb everything down, make it feel like you're stuck in molasses a little bit. But then if we go off to the right, we have tarmac, gravel, snow, and mud. These are your traction modes. So tarmac is going to be the best for on-road. It's going to take a little bit of traction control off, but keep stability up as high as it can. But then as we move down into like mud, it has very little stability control and almost no traction control. So you could try to wheel spin as much as you want to get that momentum. Off to the right, we have even more modes. So we have one pedal drive, which will allow for the maximum amount of regenerative braking. You could drive with only one pedal down to 5 miles an hour, and then you do have to take over. It will not take you to a complete stop. But then we have 4 EV modes for normal, EV, save, and charge. So you can kind of tell it, hey, hold on to the charge that you have, or you can allow the gas engine either while idling or while driving to just charge the battery. And it takes about an hour to go up to 80%, but if you want that final 20%, you have to charge it through the wall. Power parking brake and brake hold off to the right, and then cup holders, so we'll do a big friggin' bottle test, and I'm happy to report that it does in fact pass the big friggin' bottle test. Center console doesn't have anything of note in it, and the seats have been really comfortable. I've enjoyed them. They are heated, powered, memory, and massaging, so you do get 3 different levels of massaging. You get lumbar, relaxing, and refreshing, and then you could change the sensitivity and speed from there. They also look really nice. I like the sort of copper clay looking accents in the seats. I think overall it's a pretty good look and feel. However, speaking of seats, we do have technically 2 more rows of seating, so let's go do some backseat reviews. All right, we're in the second row of the Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid, and a couple of things to note. First of all, I do have plenty of knee room. The seat is a little bit leaned back, and I don't seem to have any adjustments. I guess I could do that. So okay, that's a little bit better. Maybe just a touch back. It's really awkward to do it because the handle's up here, but you can set it at different, there we go. That's a little bit better. Knee room great, headroom great. I'm 5'11", not a small guy, and I fit because it does bump up here just a little bit. I also get my own temperature control, no fan speed control, but my own temperature control down here, and heated seats, which are fantastic. We also do have some sunshades here for the little ones, but that's pretty much it. We do get a center console. The whole thing comes down. You have to pull this little strap right here. We will hop in the back and talk about the trunk and cargo space, but then there's something we'll have to jump back in here for. So stay tuned. All right, truly testing this little wind deflector on a very cold, very rainy Pacific Northwest day. So we do have a tailgate release here on the key fob, and it is a power tailgate. Once we are back here, a couple of things to note. First of all, we do have levers in here to lower the second row, which is fantastic. Boom, just like that. Ready? Boom, just like that. Absolutely love it. We also have an outlet over here. This is the 1500 watt wall outlet that you control up front. And last night we had a little bonfire at the Mitsubishi meeting, and the lights for the little tent were actually ran completely off of this for several hours because of the big hybrid battery. So really, really cool. You can power your campsite or your tailgate off of this plug. Very, very cool. But the coolest part is down below. You might notice we have more seat belts. So pull this up like that, pull this back, and bring up the headrests. You do have a third row, so let's go try it out. All right, so luckily these seats do move forward, and you can make them move forward so they actually touch the first row of seats. Then the handle we were using to adjust goes down like that. Then we can come back here, and even with it moved all the way up, ooh, these seats are touching the second row. So with the seats touching the front row, I can fit back here. It's not comfortable. What Mitsubishi told me these were meant for is if someone calls you last minute and says, hey, I can't pick up my kid from school. Do you mind picking up little Timmy? You can chuck little Timmy back here. These are absolutely emergency seats. You can make this into a 3-row SUV, but Mitsubishi themselves says you're not going to use it. No one's going to use this back row, but if you need to, you have that capability, which is some smart thinking, and that's standard on all Outlanders, plug-in hybrid or not. It used to be just for non-hybrid Outlanders, but with this newer generation, they were able to fit the third row in the hybrid as well because there's no drive shaft for the rear wheels taking up space back here, and they moved the electric motor computers from in here to actually on the motor down below now. So they freed up some space to give the third row to the plug-in hybrid. Very, very cool. I don't want to be back here, but definitely a quirk that is available here on the Outlander. All right, let's talk about looks now. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I'm not the biggest fan. I think it's a little bit overstyled. However, Mitsubishi described it that their buyers don't want their car to look like every other car at the stoplight, so that was their goal. I don't know how much I buy into that, but it is a unique looking car. You can't deny that. It's not my cup of tea, but it might be your cup of tea. Something I found very interesting about the exterior, however, is that the Outlander badge up at the front is a dealer installed option. And Mitsubishi says that about 80% of buyers will opt for it, but that's an option to get the badge along the front. Kind of interesting. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid for the last couple of days? Well, it's been a pretty good experience. The only real drawbacks of this car are some Nissan-isms, as we'll say. The interior just doesn't feel as nice, maybe, as some of its competitors, but that's all gonna be taste. I haven't heard any rattles, beeps, or squeaks in my entire time with the car, so it's not a poorly built interior. I just don't feel like it has the best overall design, but beggars can't be choosers. The fantastic part of this car is the plug-in hybrid system. Not only do you get those 38 miles of range, but you can hold on to them and use them when you want. One of the Mitsubishi brand reps that was our liaison for this trip, he personally has one, and he says that he goes about 12 to 1,300 miles between fuel fill-ups because he just charges every day and uses the battery power every day. So you would go to the gas station a lot less with this car, which is fantastic. It also gives you the freedom that if you need to, at the drop of a hat, drive across the country, you're not going to be limited by the downsides of a full EV. You could still fill up at any gas station you find, and that is going to add to your range, and it's going to drive like a normal car. So really, truly, it is the best of both worlds. Having that extended range really opens the possibility of a lot more adventures. I like the way that this car drives. I like the way it feels. I like the usability of it, and I really genuinely believe Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid or not, plug-in hybrids and standard hybrids are the future. You use less gas, we're gonna cut down on our fossil fuel consumption, but we don't have the limitations that an EV currently possesses. To me, personally, that's a win-win, and I don't understand people that don't like plug-in hybrids or that don't want plug-in hybrids. For daily drivers, for non-enthusiast vehicles, I think this absolutely is the way. And there's plenty of good cars on the market for that. This was the first plug-in hybrid SUV available back in 2012, 2018 when it came to the States. But now we have plenty of fantastic options, and I think the Outlander plug-in hybrid is certainly one of them. I hope you guys enjoy the video. I'm gonna roll some beautiful Pacific Northwest footage over my face while I give out my thank yous here today. Huge thank you to Mitsubishi for bringing me out here to Oregon to experience the plug-in hybrid Mitsubishi Outlander. Huge thank you to Navs for cleaning and facilitating the delivery of these vehicles. And of course, the Midwestern Automotive Media Association for putting me in the position to go on a fun press trip like this. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.